The Bucks have already come back from 2-0 down in these NBA playoffs, but it is the finals, and can they really do it again? We'll talk some NBA coming up. Good morning, everybody. Dari and Mel, ESPN Radio, ESPN app. You can ask your smart speaker, play ESPN Radio. I'm Aaron Goldhammer. She is Courtney Cronin. We are in for the guys. ESPN Radio presented by Progressive, and we're going to go to the Goodyear Hotline to talk finals in just a second. But we are in the midst of a classic right now, the Wimbledon final ongoing. And our producer, Jake Courtney, has been all over the tennis all morning, so let's go live to him. He is standing by at the All Bristol Club, and he has an update. Jake, what do you have for us?
A classic indeed, Aaron Goldhammer. And after a very slow start out of the gate for Caroline Pliskova, it took her 4 games to get a single point in this match. She dropped the first set 6-3, battles back and wins the second set in a tiebreaker 7-6. She's currently down a break, had a break point opportunity in this current game and dropped it. And now Ashley Barty is serving for the match. Add in 5-3. We'll see what happens. We'll let you know. We'll keep you updated. But I know my guy, Brandon Scoopy Robinson, is holding the line, so I don't want to keep him any further.
That's right. Well, he is a tennis expert, I believe, too, but mostly he knows about the NBA. We go live to the Goodyear Hotline. We call him Scoop B. Brandon Robinson joins us now. Brandon, let's start with this. On a scale of 1 to 10, how deep is the hole that the Bucks are in?
It's not a hole that they can't get out of, and thank you for the perfect segue. I think that ultimately the Phoenix Suns took care of home court advantage, and now it's on the Milwaukee Bucks to return the favor. This is a team that went toe-to-toe with the Brooklyn Nets. Well, I said on your show that I thought the Nets had it in the bag, and I was totally wrong. The Bucks found a way to get it done. They got to channel back that energy that they had back then, and it starts with Chris Middleton and Jrue Holiday playing like part of the big three that they signed up for alongside Giannis Antetokounmpo. He can't just score 42 points every game and hope that it'll be okay.
So the big key here, the entire postseason, has been if Chris Middleton's playing well offensively, the Bucks are usually in pretty good position. If he's not, then things aren't so good for Milwaukee. If he cannot get going in Game 3, where else do they turn to be able to give Giannis a little bit of support?
Well, Ms. Cronin, it starts with really and truly the bench play. Bobby Portis had 2 points in 5 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Where they got their help, though, was in Game 2 was Pat Connaughton. Pat Connaughton scored 14 points in that game, and I know he's really missing Dante DiVincenzo because I think this is where he'd be prime time right now. But I think it's a combination, again, of Connaughton, a combination of OG Bobby Portis. But I don't think there can really be a lapse in Game 3. I think ultimately Chris Middleton has to play like the leader that people thought he was in the conference finals. I mean, just a week or two ago, people were saying that he was Michael Jordan and that Giannis was Scottie Pippen, and that it was his team. And I think ultimately, I think there's no excuse in Game 3. It's going to rely on his onus to be Scottie, Michael, whomever. We need 25, 30 points from him. And Holiday, to me, was the X factor as far as stepping up from Game 1. Defensively, he's got to do better. And I'll add this: Devin Booker has really minimized their play. If I'm not mistaken, the two of them, meaning Middleton and Jrue Holiday, shot 1 for 11 when Booker was guarding both of them. They need to step up in this game.
Yeah, it would help if Holiday could just make a layup. Scoop B covers the NBA for Bally Sports. He's our guest on Dari and Mel on ESPN Radio. Aaron Goldhammer, Courtney Cronin filling in. If you had to give an MVP of the series after 2 games, Scoop, who gets it?
Chris Paul. Chris Paul has flirted with a triple-double both games, 1 and 2. He also gets style points for those black MJ sneakers. I got to find out what model those were. But more than anything else, leadership. It's infectious. And I think one thing that stands out to me is this. You look at DeAndre Ayton, it was like night and day between Games 1 and Game 2. And that's okay. But even when Ayton was not on his scoring grind, he still totaled a double-double in Game 2. And he's passed the ball some, too. I just think Chris Paul, just like his his imprint on the game has everybody playing hot potato, passing the ball reverently. And I'll add this. You didn't ask this, but I'll say this. Even in Ayton's absence, Mikal Bridges was just phenomenal in Game 2, 27 points. I think he was the added help for the Phoenix Suns in the same way that Connaughton was the added help for the Bucks in Game 2. So, yeah, I think Chris Paul's just leadership has been infectious throughout this series so far.
What happened with Milwaukee's ability to shoot the ball from outside? I mean, especially their three-point shooting. What happened? Like, I just, blanket question there, because when you look at what happens in Game 1, they won the three-point battle. And then on, I believe it was Thursday, the Suns outscored them by 33 points from three. What was the cause for that?
Ms. Cronin, I'll tell you this. So when I look at the difference I look at specifically at Game 2, what stands out to me, number one, is this. The three-point field goal percentage difference there. So the Suns shot 50%, 20 for 40 from downtown, and the Bucks shot 29%, 9 for 31. That's horrible. But where it's interesting, that difference is the reason why the Suns won the game. So Game 2, it was 118-108. When you look at the points in the paint, the Bucks outscored the Suns in the paint, 54-28. And so the difference maker there was the three-point shooting, and also because even the turnover difference. The Suns only turned the ball over. Well, they did. They turned the ball over more times than the Bucks did. They turned the ball over 12 times. The Bucks turned it over 9 times. So the points in the paint mattered for the Bucks, but also within those points in the paint, they were still lacking contributions from Brook Lopez and contributions from Bobby Portis. I don't see those two guys being late to class 2 days in a row. So with that being said, it's going to be the Bucks that are going to have to step it up. They lost by 10 points. The 3-point difference was really the caveat there. And I think even shooting the ball 65.2% from the free throw line was nothing. I know everybody talks about Giannis and the countdown to how long it takes him to shoot a free throw, but the 3-point shooting was the difference there. I think they got to clean it up in Game 3. I think they will. I see this series going deeper. I don't see it being a sweep. I see it going, longer than 4 games, and I think that tomorrow we'll see what happens. But, yeah, the Bucks are going to clean that up in Game 3.
Scoop B covers the NBA for Bally Sports. Suns have a 2-0 lead on the Bucks, and you can listen to Game 3 tomorrow night right here on ESPN Radio. You can watch it on ABC. Scoop, do you sense a big coaching mismatch in this series?
I mean, they're both disciples of Greg Popovich, Mr. Goldhammer. I think that ultimately, I think Monty Williams is right on time. I think even that viral clip that went out where he was talking to DeAndre Ayton about getting his head back into the game. I mean, I don't know if it's a coaching difference. I think ultimately it comes down to the players on the floor, and I think Chris Paul is the extension of the coach on the floor, and I think Giannis and the Bucks are in a situation where, number one, the brother just came back from hyperextending his right knee. I mean, the only comparison that I can make in this playoff series to what Giannis did, and it's not a fair comparison because they're not in the finals, is really and truly what Joel Embiid did for the 76ers when he came back to play against the Hawks in Game 1. And people were like, people were looking to make that Willis Reed comparison like right away. But I ultimately think that, Budenholzer was a gentleman who, they were calling for his job if they didn't go deep into the playoffs. And, he and his team had found a way to get it done. And so I think both of those coaches are unique in their own way to their specific team. I don't think it comes down to coaching. Honestly, I think it comes down to just personnel and just how each game was won. I think in Game 3 it will come down to coaching because I think at this point each team knows each other's plays. They've been watching each other for a while, and it's just key adjustments in Game 3. And I think coaching will be the determining factor in Game 3 on Sunday.
Well, Scoop B is a bigger deal than us, Courtney, because he was admitted to a screening, an advanced screening of Space Jam: A New Legacy, starring LeBron James, Bugs Bunny, and others. So let's get, if we can, I don't know what you're embargoed or what you can say. Can we get like a 15-second review of the new Space Jam?
I'll give you 5 seconds. I'll say that you'll like it. You can't compare Space Jam 1 to Space Jam 2. Think the difference between Coming to America 1 and Coming America 2. You can't compare it. Just enjoy it. But you know those Michael and LeBron comparisons are going to keep coming, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I feel like we'll be debating them right here on ESPN Radio. Mr. Robinson, appreciate the time. Thank you.
Cronin and Goldhammer. Sounds like a law firm. Thank you for having me.